If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain, it's free. I've been using it for a few weeks now and I absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic platform and it's something that everybody can leverage from, and everybody should have something to talk about because everybody has their own unique way of, their own unique passions and stuff like that. So this is a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and computer. So it's that easy. That easy. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more places. So literally it's all in one. All you have to do is just upload your podcast or record right here from the actual app, and it does the work for you. How easy is that? So you can sit there, record your podcast, and move on. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast and own. Make sure you download the Anchor app or find it on the website anchor.fm to get started. Easy, easy, easy. Hey everybody, so I'm back with another podcast. I think I did one yesterday, but I felt like doing another one today since I had literally something come to my mind while I was not come to my mind, but I've been thinking about it for a while. So I think I'm going to start doing a wedding timeline series, so that way we can go through the timeline together, and then at the conclusion you can head over to my website and get your own wedding timeline so you have it in front of you, as well as with your notes of what we talked about during this podcast. But for those who do not know me, my name is Alicia, and I teach individuals and couples how to plan and design their experience. Having a wedding, let's tell your story. Hosting an event, let's have an experience. I am also employed as a special events and catering coordinator at an accredited college. And if you don't know, colleges and universities also act as wedding venues as well. If you're looking for a unique wedding venue, definitely consider a local college near you. And today we are going to, and I'm also a hospitality professional. I have experience as a meeting and catering coordinator for a prestigious law firm. That was my former employer before this one here. And I've been in the hospitality industry for a few years now, so I have a little bit of knowledge up underneath my belt. I've also helped and volunteered my time with family and friends' events and weddings. So, I'm that go-to person that people normally turn to when they need budget-friendly decor, budget-friendly event stuff. If they just overall need help planning, they normally call me, text me, get in contact with me, and we start the planning process, or I'll help them, decorate, or, just volunteer my time, since I love events are my passion. So here we are. So today, like I said before, we're going to be talking about wedding timeline, and this is going to be a wedding timeline series. I'm going to start it. Actually, this is the first place I'm actually starting this series is on this podcast. So, you'll be the first to hear it. So I have already created the timeline, so I'm just going to break it down each day. So today we're going to talk about what you should do in the very, 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 very beginning stages of your wedding. Between months 1 and 3. Between months 1 and 3, you should be budgeting. You should definitely figure out your budget, your guest list, your theme, and then your venue. So we're just going to literally talk about each thing I just talked about for today, and then tomorrow or the next time I'll probably come on every day from this podcast on. So today we're going to be talking about budgeting. Make sure that you set a realistic budget. Make sure that you map out everything that you want at your wedding. So everything that you want and need. So you need catering, you need beverages, whether that be alcohol. Well, obviously you should be serving alcohol, because a lot of people, that's what they expect, and a lot of people do drink alcohol. You should also factor in, does the venue have linens? If not, you're gonna have to rent some linens or buy some linens. And some other stuff like decor, dresses, shoes, cake, transportation. Is your wedding going to be held in the same place as your reception? So that's something else that you need to talk about. It's just a laundry list of things. So you have to see exactly what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want, and make that to your budget, and make sure it's a realistic budget, and make sure that you just, for now, jot down everything that you want. You know, if you want a live band, if you want a singer, if you want a DJ, all that needs to be incorporated into your budget. And for now, we're just going to make a list of everything that you need for your wedding. Okay? And then once you establish that list, then you go around and start getting prices for everything. And then you compare to see, okay, this is how much I want for, this is how much we estimated, we predicted, but this is how much it actually costs. So either you're either under your budget, within your budget, over your budget. So if you're over your budget, you're going to have to really decide, you know, what can you really afford. Okay? So now we're going to move down to the guest list, because the guest list, this is a big one. If you choose to try to invite everybody that you know, just know that you'll be paying more. Okay? You'll be paying a lot more. If you choose to list limited to close family and friends, do that. If you choose to, because people are going, your guest is going to make or break your wedding budget, because a lot of these venues charge per person, per plate. Okay, per plate. Think that, per seat, per person. So that's what you need to really factor in. So once you call the venue and you know, tell them a date that you're interested in, also try to get to see if they do offer the reception space there, how much will it cost per person, because they'll normally tell you anyway, but just, you know, have that conversation, and then that way you can have that conversation with your spouse to see again if you're under budget, exactly at your budget, or you're over your budget, and that way you can determine who you want on your list. Make your list as simple as possible. Don't be going trying to invite people that you haven't seen since your childhood. If y'all haven't kept in contact with each other, there's really no need to invite them. If you are, you know, at work, everybody has a job. So if you want to choose to invite your coworkers, do just that. But factor in that if you invite one, you're gonna have to invite a few others, because that's going to cause a whole workplace confrontation, because one person was invited and the other person was not. Also check my other podcast about should you invite coworkers to your wedding. So that's totally up to you, but just know that if you invite one, you're probably going to have to invite a few others. That's just that. Another thing to think about too, do you want children at your wedding? Because again, children, especially for like a reception, they're their own menu. Okay, children's menus tend to be a little bit, they still are expensive, but they're a little bit cheaper than an adult plate. But obviously you cannot serve an adult a child's plate. So do you want to have children there? Everybody wants to have a flower girl. Everybody wants to have a ring bearer. But should you invite other children too? Include families that have children. Obviously, you're going to invite the parents, but are their children invited too? So that's what you have to factor into your budget. Into your guest list. When you're making your guest list, can you afford to have children there? Can you afford to invite all these people? Can you afford to invite your workplace? That's what you really need to have a conversation with your spouse. The theme. Decide on a theme. Decide on a nice, unique theme. Decide on a theme that's, that tells your story, that represents you. You want people to walk into your wedding and be like, oh my gosh, this is so John. This is so Mary. You know, she just, oh my God, did she design it herself? I know she's an artist, but oh my gosh, did she design it herself? I need to see if she can design one for me. So you need to bring the theme, make it your love story, pretty much. Just make it your love story and create your love story experience for your guests. Do stuff out of the box. Everybody wants to rush to a wedding venue. When I was doing research, I had no idea. Well, I kind of did, but I didn't really look into it, that colleges and universities act as wedding venues. And once I started seeing a lot of these pictures and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes me want to have an event just to invite people to this venue, so they can see the architectural design, the historic features. A lot of the stuff, you know, that you'll see in a college, you're not going to really see anywhere else, because the architect, you know, was the biggest one of that time, and you can tell his work. Okay, so when you go into a building, you should be able to tell that a lot of thought was put into this venue and create that ultimate experience. But obviously stay well within your budget. And a lot of these colleges offer a one-stop shop, meaning they offer you a space to host your ceremony, they offer a space to host your reception, and they offer catering too. So it's a one-stop shop. So definitely that's something else you can consider too. Do you really want to spend the time branching out, calling here, calling there, tasting this, tasting that? And that's another thing too. Please make sure that you taste these foods before you book. Because you're checking for consistency, you're checking for accuracy, you're checking for taste, presentation. That's what you're checking for. But that's something else that you really need to establish between months 1 and 3. Who's going to cook your food, and where are you going to get your cakes from? Do a lot of cake testing. Make sure it's nice and moist, or however your preference is. Make sure it is a good choice. Okay, whatever it is, make sure that it is a good choice and something that your guests are going to appreciate. And make sure that it's consistent with taste. And I would do taste testings throughout the whole entire wedding timeline process. And it's you're just checking to make sure that it's going to be right. Because people are mainly showing up to celebrate because they want to get dressed, they want to come out, they want to celebrate, but they're mainly coming for the food, drinks, and entertainment. Sorry to break it to you. They're getting out the house. A lot of them don't really go out. And if they do go out, it's not your wedding. They're going to a wedding. They're going to your wedding. So they want to have a great time. Not a good time, but a great time. That's what they're looking for, a great experience. So that's what you have to try to give them. Their great experience without breaking your bank, without getting frustrated or stressed out. Because during a wedding process, you're going to get that. Because you're going to have a lot of people bugging you, asking you, can I bring a +1? Oh, we didn't even get to that. I got to talk about that too. Can I bring somebody? Or they won't RSVP, but we'll get to that much later in the series. But can I bring a +1? What's the food menu? Why are you having it here? Why can't kids come? Like there's people out there, if their kids aren't invited, they're going to give you hell. They're either going to accept the fact that their kids can't come, or try to convince you to allowing their kids to come. Okay, so that's when you really have to have tough skin, thick skin, and as they say, man up. You know, even if you're female, you gotta man up and say no. Stand your ground. Just say that it is not within your budget to have kids at your wedding. You and your spouse, or maybe you are still invited, but however, your kids are not. We cannot afford it. Sorry. Now, if you choose to, you can still come. If you choose not to, that's fine too. But we cannot afford to have children. I'm sorry. And venue, we just talked about that. As soon as you book your venue, make sure that you grab wedding insurance. Make sure that you grab wedding insurance. Make sure that you grab wedding insurance. Wedding insurance should always be included in your budget, because times like these with the coronavirus, a lot of places are canceling, a lot of places are postponing, a lot of people are in havoc mode because they don't have nowhere to host their wedding or event. They don't have nowhere, their wedding venue isn't offering refunds. So it's good to get wedding insurance for times like these economic disasters. So definitely take advantage of that. There's plenty of them. Just Google wedding insurance and a lot of different companies should pop up. So definitely get wedding insurance. But back to plus ones. If that's again up to you, if you choose to incorporate or have a plus one, being able to allow the single people to bring people to your wedding or event. And you must very much communicate that. That's why it's good to have like a Facebook page, some sort of group where you can bring people in, make people join that group. So that way you can really politely as you can say, unfortunately, we cannot have plus ones. Unfortunately, children are not allowed. So you put this in the air right when you start your wedding planning to see exactly what you can afford to do. Either the people are going to come or the people are not going to come. That is their decision at that point, but it's common courtesy to allow the people to, it's common courtesy for the people that will not attend because they cannot bring somebody, or will not attend because they cannot bring their children, to let somebody know that you will not be there, so they won't pay for your plate, or they're not sitting there wondering if you're going to be coming or not, or if they won't, pretty much, so somebody knows, so the time's not wasted, money's not wasted. Or if you're going to be one of those people that, okay, you couldn't bring plus ones, you gotta like look into the future, like, who is this person? But just, you make it extremely clear to the person that's trying to bring somebody, who is this person? Okay, who is this person? What are they like? Talk to them, ask them questions, because you don't want nobody come up in there starting no type of problems or giving off a weird vibe or something like that. You just have to camera the person that's trying to bring somebody that you don't know to your wedding or event. Who is this person? Try to get to know them through that person to see exactly if they even know this person for long. That creates and can break your wedding vibe or make or break your budget. It's all about creating an experience. That it concludes this part of the series. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and look for us tomorrow to discuss months 4 through 6 of what you should be getting, doing, I should say. If you want a copy of the timeline so you can follow along with us during this series, click the link below, or go to Arbre, ARBRE, Wedding Boutique.bigcartel.com and grab the wedding planner timeline for only $2.99 and follow along with us. That is fairly cheap for the information that I'm giving. It's affordable, and it's going to keep you right on track. Now, I know in some parts of the series I might be a little bit blunt. That's just how I am. I'll keep it real. I don't sugarcoat. I don't blindside anybody, because like I said before, I work in this field. I see different stuff just doing events every day, how people are when it comes to hosting an event. So I'm just trying to give y'all the realest tea, the hottest tea, the piping hot tea, the realness, so you guys are not sad or anything like that once it does actually happen. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've seen a majority of it. How people get at events, how people get around food, and that's going to be a whole nother thing I got to talk about. Food, what to expect when people get around food. So stay tuned for this series. Like this podcast. Follow this podcast. Join us on all social media outlets. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you go and grab that wedding timeline at Our Braille Wedding Boutique. ourbrailleweddingboutique.bitcartel.com. ourbrailleweddingboutique.bitcartel.com. ourbrailleweddingboutique.bitcartel.com.